Hello there, good evening to you. Monday evening, and we are live here in our studios at the John Evans at Samuel's High Street in Accra. This evening, these are top stories. The case involving the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, has been adjourned to November 16, 2021, as he's out of the country at the moment. Now, the Vice President of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says Akufo-Addo's led administration has invested in education than any successive government. Now, in business tonight, some stakeholders and financial analysts have shared the expectations ahead of the 2022 budget presentation by the Finance Minister, Honorable Kenneth Uriata. And in sports, Asante Kotoko and King Faisal have defeated Bichim United and Ijana Stars, respectively, in the match day 2 of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League. There are more details in these stories and some are coming up shortly in this evening's news bulletin. We're streaming live on Facebook, Adoatv Ghana, and the news is brought to you by Blue Sea Ties and Accessories and Verna Natural Mineral Water. My name is Anastasia Badu, and to the details. The case involving the Member of Parliament for Medina, I beg your pardon, Francis Xavier Sosu, has been adjourned to November 16, 2021. This is because the legislator is out of the country on parliamentary duties. The case was called at the Kaneshie District Court on Monday, November 8, 2021, but had to be held in chambers and was presided over by Magistrate Ohene Bakufo. During the session, it came to the fore that the Ghana Police Service had received a letter from the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagwin, on the matter. The Medina NDC Constituency Secretary, Abdul Razak Hussein, who spoke to journalists after the court hearing, expressed optimism that the matter will soon be put to rest. He said the entire constituency stands in solidarity with the legislator. We are all here in solidarity and support with the MP. We stand with him, and rightly, as the lawyer said, the matter was called, and when they went into chambers, the lawyers made it clear that they had received a letter from Parliament that Sosu is on parliamentary duties outside the country. The country has also agreed in principle. Sosu is expected to touch down by 16th November. Meanwhile, the NDC constituency executive said they've already started seeing some positive results from the demonstration, for which reasons Francis Xavier Sosu is being dragged to court. According to him, the contractor of some portions of the road they demonstrated over has reported to the site and has begun work. Now let's move on to some other stories. And the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has said that the Akufo-Addo-led administration has achieved and invested more in the educational sector than any successive government. Speaking at the launch of the Konkomba Education Endowment Fund on Sunday, November 7, 2021, he added tertiary student loans have been doubled to 3,000 Ghana cedis from the initial 1,500 cedis.
And we introduced free senior high school education to create equal opportunities for the poor without compromising quality. There were those who opposed and bastardized the introduction of free SHS. They said it was a hoax, a 419 promise. They said if they had 2 billion Ghana cedis, they would not spend it on free SHS. They said free SHS would collapse the education system. In fact, if we had listened to them, free SHS would not have happened. But Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo stuck to his guns, and we successfully implemented the free SHS policy. An additional 400,000 students have benefited from free SHS. and half of them were girls. Half of them were girls, and many of whom would have been at home because their parents could not have afforded. In fact, when we implemented free SHS, a lot of middle-class families in Accra and the other cities were finding it difficult to get house girls because the parents of the girls came for them and put them in school. So SHS has been very beneficiary for the girl child in education. Thankfully, the predictions of doom for free SHS have not materialized. The recent results of the first batch of free SHS graduates has shown that quality has not been compromised. Indeed, the 2020 results, the WACSI candidates, is the only year in the past 6 years that more than 50% of candidates who sat the examinations obtained between A1 and C6 in all core subjects. This is the first time in 6 years, more than 50%. We have also implemented not just free SHS, we've done free TVET as a key component of the government's free senior high school initiative. And over 65,000 students have so far benefited from the free TVET in various technical institutes under the Ministry of Education. We have abolished utility bills for students in tertiary institutions. Government has absorbed the examination fees for BECE and WACSI. We have doubled the student loan amount from 1,500 cedis to 3,000 cedis. And to obtain the student loan, now we have a new policy which we are now implementing. Now no student needs to bring a guarantor. All you need is your Ghana card and you will get the student loan. We abolished the 3-month pay policy, and we have recruited, ladies and gentlemen, the recruitment of teaching and non-teaching staff in the last 5 years is 93,724 teachers and non-teaching staff that we have recruited. 93,000. This is the highest recruitment of teachers for any first-term government since 1992. We have restored the teacher training allowances, restored the nursing training allowances. We are also providing free Wi-Fi because of the technological age, to 710 senior high schools, 46 colleges of education, 260 district education offices, and initially we have done 13 public universities. We've also had one teacher, one laptop policy, and we have distributed 350,000 laptops to our teachers. So we are investing in education. The infrastructure investment in the education sector by our government has been massive. To deal with the challenge of infrastructure in senior high schools, for example, 1,132 senior secondary school projects, classrooms, dormitories, libraries, ICT laboratories, and so on, are being undertaken. 1,132 projects. So far, 678 have been completed, and then we are trying to complete the next. 9 model science senior high schools are ongoing. 20 science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics schools are also ongoing. And when it comes to the E-blocks, we have completed 30 E-blocks. 30 E-blocks that we inherited. Completed 30. The previous government completed 29. We have completed 30. They are so you can see. Professor Nana Jane, look at the data. The data cannot lie. When in doubt, check the data.
Now, away from Dr. Baumia, the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, has recently come under severe criticism after saying that the practicing of law is not a right but then a privilege. This has been greeted with several mixed reactions, with many backlashing him for his assertion. Meanwhile, retired appeals court judge Justice Isaac Dosu has held a different opinion. According to him, the Attorney General is right to a large extent. He noted it's very necessary that before one crucifies the Attorney General, one must distinguish between a privilege and a right. Mr. Dame's comments stressed the need for lawyers to uphold ethical standards in the legal profession.
Largely, Attorney General is right. We have to make a distinction between a privilege and a right. For example, you have a right to inherit your parents' property, but that's not a privilege. It's a right. You don't work for it, but to have a privileged position, you must work for it. So, for example, to become a lawyer, you have to go through a course of study over a period of time and be proved worthy of the certificate that you have. And that privilege is also not forever. It's not everlasting. There are rules and regulations of surrounding how you conduct yourself in the privileged position of a lawyer. If you default in any of them, the license can be taken away from you and so on and so forth. But if you inherit, say, your grandfather's property, nobody can come and take it from you. So is accounting. So is also medicine. So is also engineering. You can't transfer that to anybody. It's not transferable. It's not inheritable. It is for you and you alone. If you die with it. You can't give your engineering certificate to your child or who hasn't gone through the process. So also you can't give your legal certificates or license to anybody to practice. So being a lawyer is truly a privilege and not a right. You can go to the law school. It's a right to go to the law school and pay, but it's not a right to pass. If you don't work hard, you may not pass.
Now, the spokesperson for the Minority Caucus, who serves as the ranking member on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Eric Opoku, has lamented that the rate of borrowing by the MPP administration is getting worse. According to the Esunafo South legislator, the new patriotic party under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Baumia in borrowing an amount of $44.5 billion yearly, and he describes the act as uncommon in the history of the country. He made the statement while contending on the floor of Parliament pursuant to the report of the Finance Committee on the annual public debt report for the 2020 financial year presented by the chairman, Kweku Kwati.
7th of January 2009, when President Kufuor's administration was handing over the mantle of leadership to His Excellency late John Evans Atta-Mills, after all the HIPC benefits, the total debt of our nation was 9.5 billion Ghana cedis. 9.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, at the end of the 8-year term of the NDC, the debt has gone up to 122 billion, indicating that over the 8-year period, the NDC government added 112.5 billion over a period of 8 years. Mr. Speaker, those who are asking for source, it's like they don't read the documents we give to them in this house.
Speaker, you cry.
These records are available in your own budget. Mr. Speaker, what it means is that in the 8 years of the NDC period, a total of $112.5 billion Ghana cedis, Ghana cedis was added to the desktop. Mr. Speaker, that means that every year, on the average, the NDC government was borrowing 14 billion Ghana cedis a year. Mr. Speaker, that was what they disputed. That was what they spoke against. Mr. Speaker, that was what they said they described us as being incompetent. that we were lazy, we didn't know anything, and we're just borrowing because every year we were borrowing 14 billion. And at the end of 8 years, we had increased our debt stock by 112.5 billion. Now, those who claim to be incompetent, the professors, the best managers of the Ghanaian economy, they are in power now. Mr. Speaker, over 4 years, Mr. Speaker, over 4 years, they have borrowed 178 billion, which has never happened in the history of this country before. Mr. Speaker, what it means is that every year, they are borrowing 44.5 billion a year. 44.5 billion a year. Mr. Speaker, this has never happened in the history of this country. And we are only talking about a period from 2017 to 2020. We haven't even talked about 2021. And Ghana's debt is now hovering around 300 billion. Mr. Speaker, now they are talking about America. They have borrowed so much. Even Japan, their debt to GDP is in excess of 200%. 200. But Mr. Speaker, Ghana goes to America, Japan for loans to come and fix our roads. Can they also come to us for loans? Can they do that? Mr. Speaker, what they have done is that the monies, the loans they have taken, they have invested those monies in infrastructure. So when you go to Japan, even though their debt to GDP is very high, they have a solid infrastructure base. And they believe that within a short time, they'll be able to pay off those debts. Look at them sitting here. There is a question they would never answer. Whenever you ask them, MPP, they will dodge it. What have you used the loans for? What have you used the money for? You have borrowed so much. What have you used the money for? And Mr. Speaker, you come to this floor unabashedly to defend this record. Mr. Speaker, even this report, Mr. Speaker, even this report, I believe that.
You're watching the evening news bulletin at 6 p.m. right here from our studio on the John Evans Samuels High Street in Accra. Now, away from political and parliamentary issues, the International Justice Mission, a global organization that protects people in poverty from violence, in partnership with local authorities and 24 program officers in 14 countries to combat human trafficking, violence against women and children, and the police abuse of power against people living in poverty. The conference brought together stakeholders from churches, government and non-governmental organizations to speak on the issue of human trafficking and the role the varying stakeholders, have in bringing the issue to an end. The conference was on the theme Tackling Human Trafficking, Our Collective Responsibility, and was held at the Assemblies of God headquarters in Accra.
The International Justice Mission, IJM, a global organization that protects people in poverty from violence, in partnership with local authorities and 24 program officers in 14 countries to combat human trafficking, violence against women and children, and the police abuse of power against people living in poverty, has held a 2021 Arise conference. The conference brought together stakeholders from churches, government and non-governmental organizations to speak on the issue of human trafficking. The role varying stakeholders have in bringing the issue to an end. The conference was on the theme Tackling Human Trafficking, Our Collective Responsibility. Speaking at the conference, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra, Director of Public Prosecutions at the Office of the Attorney General, shared some challenges they are facing.
Crime is a sin against somebody, and so you have victims who have been affected one way or the other. But for trafficking, sexual offenses, there are cases that sort of affect you. I mean, even emotionally, you just go all out for people who have gone through an incident of trafficking. Now, by the time you meet them, sometimes when the dockets are brought to us, you realize there is very little connecting the accused person to the victim. You really want to do a good job, but it is the investigations that have been brought to you are not enough to send the docket to court. And then sometimes even our cultural values we still stigmatize the victims. So the person has been through a lot, but it's a sort of a stigmatization, and then people don't want their stories to be told. They don't want to be in court. And once the offender says that, look, I'm going to compensate you, then they don't want to go to court. And if you don't have the victim willing to testify, you cannot go to court.
Mrs. Abena Anobia Asante, Human Traffic Secretariat at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, spoke to the media.
Often perpetrators, after committing a crime, will run to their opinion leaders, church leaders, traditional leaders, and even sometimes political leaders, so that they will come and plead on their behalf. And when it persists for a long time, I think justice cannot be served for the victim who has been abused, whether defilement, whether rape, whether trafficking incidents. Often we really face that challenge. And so we want to tell our church leaders, our opinion leaders, traditional leaders, that we should be able to stand up to these perpetrators and tell them to face the consequences of their actions. Because issues of rape, defilement, which sometimes victims of trafficking experience, cannot be settled in the home. It has to be settled in the court of law. And therefore, with this, they need to let the appropriate institutions, whether law enforcement agencies or if it has gotten to the ages department, wherever the case is, they need to support the system rather to help eradicate these offenders from our communities and our societies. Because they did it to maybe person A, they can do it to person B, and if we all try hard to fight this canker within our communities together, then at the end of the day, we can reduce issues of human trafficking to the lowest minimum. Resources can never be enough, but with commitment, you can get there. And so in fighting trafficking, it comes with, of course, the knowledge, the experiences, and also understanding what is at stake. And so with the trainings that we are doing, I think when people know what is expected of them, it makes them committed to the fight against trafficking. That not said, still resources also cannot be under-emphasized. Other agencies need funds to support them. The Department of Social Welfare, of course, need more resources because when it comes to victim support and rehabilitation, it takes a lot of financial strength to do that. And so we plead that, yes, more is added also to their budget allocations. We have our law enforcement agencies. They've made mention they need more resources, and also to equip the regional offices that have been opened. It also takes resources. So it's not only government who need to do that. We are pleading with our development partners, individuals. Whatever way you can support the fight against trafficking, we are ready for you, and you are welcome for us to work together to improve the resources and then the various commitments that various agencies have made in the fight against trafficking.
The conference was centered on creating awareness on human trafficking, providing a platform for survivors to share their stories, advocate and encourage individuals to be human trafficking champions, and also promote strategic opportunities.
The Ghana Grid Company Limited, Gridco, says it has installed over 5,200 megawatts plant capacity since 2008 when it began operations. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, the Director System Operations of Gridco, Engineer Mark Barr, mentioned that currently Ghana has over 5,200 megawatt power plant installed capacity.
Anytime there is an inequality, we have problems in the system. If demand is more than supply, you will have doomsday. If supply is more than demand, you would have to shut down some power plants. So 24/7, every second of the day, there is somebody at the control center ensuring that demand and supply is equal. And that is the function of what you see there as ETU, the electricity transmission utility. So Gridco is carrying two hats, actually, the ETU and the transmission asset owner. Next slide. Beginning from 2008, when we were set up, we had only 2 generating companies in Ghana. As at now, we have 14 generating companies, including IPPs, independent power producers. They have confidence to invest in Ghana because Gridco provides open access. So wherever you are, you site your generators, you can do business with any bulk customer anywhere in Ghana. So Gridco guarantees that open access in a fair manner. Currently, as a country, the number of power plants installed capacity we have is in the excess of 5,200 megawatts. So a watt is a unit of electricity. So sometimes you have your lamps, your light, they say it is 10 watts. We have installed over 5,200 megawatts. Megawatt means million watts in Ghana. And it comprises VRA and other IPPs. Now with these plants, we have hydro plants which use water like Akosombo, Bui, or Pong, and the others are thermal plants which use fuel. And the fuel, we have gas, and we have some using heavy fuel oil. In some cases, we use crude oil. In order to send this power to the
The Anglican Internal Province of Ghana has officially launched the Anglican Development Fund on November 7, 2021 at the Christ Anglican Church, Legon. The very first development fund is geared towards the financial sustainability and support of the church.
The glory of God, for clergy, welfare, for scholarship for our young people in the church, for evangelism, for national Anglican cohesion, for unity and for missions outside Ghana.
The program was graced by the Archbishop of the Anglican Internal Province of Ghana, who doubles as Bishop of Asante Mampon, the Most Reverend Cyril Kobina Ben Smith, and representatives from all the Anglican churches across the country. The aim of the Development Fund is to support the mission of Christ and the Church, such as scholarship programs for students, evangelism, pension scheme, infrastructure management, and developmental projects, amongst others. Speaking to the congregation, the Archbishop urged congregants to contribute towards the growth and development of the church. However, in an exclusive interview with Adoa News, the Archbishop explicitly explained the importance of the Development Fund.
The Development Fund is to take care of a wide range of church business throughout the Anglican Church. And this is not specific to any diocese. It is for the whole Anglican Church. And it's meant to, one, take care of specific needs, like, one, scholarships for our youth. Two, augment clergy pensions where there are no pensions. So the fund will be on rotational basis, and it will look at various needs on rotational basis by the trustees. It includes evangelism, national evangelism. It includes human resource development. It includes so many other things as enshrined in the brochure. And we have trustees who are going to take care of the fund. So this will be for all the 11 dioceses in Ghana and for any dioceses that might even come afterwards. So the aim is to have funds that would meet the needs of the church in Ghana as and when required, including emergency grants to dioceses that are in need, emergency grants to specific projects that demand our support. But it's targeted especially to evangelism, youth, clergy welfare, and pensions.
Some congregants who applauded the internal province of the church urged the leadership to come up with more of such initiatives.
The objective has been achieved. We want all Anglicans to be committed. We want to move with every individual Anglican to grow the church. Well, the response has been very good. We are not looking at the quantum of the money, but the excitement that there's a vision, the excitement that there is a new path, the excitement that we need to reposition, the excitement that we need to be realigned. That is a joy. That is really a joy. So honestly, it's been a very good occasion whereby Archbishop Cyril has really unveiled his plans in which majority of the Anglicans are supporting. So we take it that we have really begun very well. We will continue from here. We'll be moving to other regions with the same measures until this is achieved. So generally, I would say it is overwhelming. It has been endorsed, and the Anglican Church, there is light after the tunnel.
Vision of the Archbishop is something that, as a church, we must emulate and also support that vision, because we are lagging behind. We are the church that developed this country in terms of education, in terms of big institutions that we can name of. So what we are saying is that as a church, we are living at our comfort zone of taking the offerings, but we are launching into the deep, as Jesus told Peter, and that we are making a current call on the church members that there's a new dawn, there's a paradigm shift, whereby we must contribute our quota 2 cedis or more every month, 2 cedis or more. That will help us to develop the church, because we are now coming out in Spirit Insurance and other Anglican investment company. So I think as a youth of the church, I'm really proud of today, and I want the youth, especially the working class and even those who are in school, to use this opportunity to invest in the church, so that at the time, because it is going to get a lot of employment on our part as the agriculture committee. There are a lot that we are coming up with, a lot of agricultural opportunities that we are coming up with, and we have the support of certain institutions, especially the president, the vice president, and O2 backing us to give us a helping hand whenever the needs arise. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the House of Bishops of the Anglican Church of Ghana and the entire Anglican Church, I launch the Anglican Development Fund in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. All to the greater glory of God and the edification of His church.
And on that note of benediction, we'll go for a quick break. We'll come back with business story, and on our first story, we're going to deal with the budgets, 2022 budgets that will be read in Parliament by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Some people have made the expectations and also giving their forward on what they expect government to do to be able to raise more revenue. We'll be right back after this short break.
CB makeups now. CB makeups now. I'm not correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. Who anyone? Oh, middle. You can't say about one CB men capsules. Me see CB men capsules na make a year.
Yeah, CB men and women's capsules. Now you knew the dada. And one year packaging I had the
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako do pegi.
Share a painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won you and come home.
Susanna, Ghana man man tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA Adi Edwin Katoyatu.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emil's Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Back from that quick break to the business segment and on to details of the first story. Ahead of the 2022 budget presentation by the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, stakeholders have shared their opinions on how government should raise more revenue. Sharing their opinions to my colleague Nanya Macaulay of the Business Desk, tax analyst Francis Timoboy said the government should run the public sector as a private one.
Director of Business Operations at Dilex Finance, Joe Jackson, has urged government to sell off some state assets to rake in more revenue and reduce borrowing.
Now, with respect to the budget, we want to see what the government will do long term to reduce the borrowing and to raise revenue. We can't just keep borrowing. One of the things I want to see happen is that the government to sell off some of the state assets. Some of the big stakes in some of the companies must be sold so that the revenue requirement for next year will drop a bit, right? And there are some hard decisions we have to take.
But tax analyst Francis Timoboy disagree, saying that selling state assets is not the right way to go, but government should run it as a private sector.
I do not believe that selling them will do us any good. It's just like selling your chicken which lays the egg. The problem we have with the state institutions are that we are not able to put them to tax to perform. Look, we have state institutions that perform essential functions and they can be profitable. So why don't we really lead them? Why don't you take our hands off? I mean, as politicians, why don't you take our hands off for these institutions to perform? It should be managed like a corporate institution, a company.
Like if it's for a private sector.
Exactly. We should allow them to operate as private entities. If we really want to develop the nation, that is what we should go. Selling them off will just give you some small amount of money. Some investors will come and buy it and tomorrow they turn it out and then it is better for them. So I wouldn't advocate that we should sell them off. What we need is a change in philosophy and management policy. We should just change those ones. And maybe sometimes government appointments onto those boards, we can stop them, give it to private entities for them to manage. You understand? Then I believe that will rather do us good.
For other business news, Nanya Macaulay in Accra.
Now, the General Secretary of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, Samuel Atuagri, has said Ghana needs to take off the bottlenecks to penetrate the West African market, stating that Ghana needs to have strong financing before the industry can partake in AFTA. He spoke with Na Anyimakwele of the Business Desk.
I want to find out how the association body is working towards taking advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has commenced on January 1, 2021.
Well, I should say that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that came into force, it's have its own benefits and challenges.
Sure.
And initially when it was introduced, we realized that it has come to solve a lot of problems for our local industries. Why am I saying so? It was meant to open up the external market for industries in Ghana. But unfortunately, when we look at it as it stands now, we are still having some challenges in terms of assessing even just our immediate neighbors.
Have any of your members been able to be successful in terms of these continental trade?
Well, I won't say that they have been successful, because it's an ongoing trend and it has come to stay.
So any of the members have been able to...
Those who are exporting outside the Ghana enclave,
sure,
I would say that yes, they have benefited and they will keep on expanding, because barring all challenges, if they're able to take out the bottlenecks that we look at, if they should bring anything for us to look at, we'll still discuss it. And therefore, if that one should be anything to write home about, we would want to penetrate within the West African market, and then also from the West African market we move into the general continental aspect of it. But then the challenges that some are facing is where you would then have to have a strong financial background to be able to reach out to these areas. What we are looking at is that in future, when there's an expansion, we know that we'll benefit from. We'll still continue taking that as an advantage and then ensuring that we become part of the African continental system.
And that will do it for business segment. You can visit our website on adoanewsonline.com for more news updates. We'll come back shortly with sports.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome to the sports segment, and now let's go on to the GFA with some stories. As the leadership of the Ghana Football Association, led by President Ket Edwin Simeon Okweku, has met with the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, and the hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service. The main purpose of the meeting was to discuss with the IGP concerns and challenges facing clubs at league centers and how to deal with them. This includes combating crime at the league centers, dealing with hooliganism and crowd violence, and clamping down on faceless people who bet away matches in the football ecosystem.
The meeting, which was held at the headquarters of the Ghana Police Service, brought together top officials of the police service, executive council members of the GFA, and representatives of Premier League clubs. The IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, and his team took time to listen to concerns and the challenges facing clubs at league centers and how to deal with them. This includes combating crime at league centers, dealing hooliganism and crowd violence, and clamping down on faceless people who bet away matches in the football ecosystem. President of the GFA, Ket Edwin Simeon Okweku, reiterated the need for the police service to consider forming a special sports policing unit within the police service.
By the Ghana Police Service for many years, and it's important that we close this family unit together and ensure that we have clear agenda to work together as a family and to protect lives so that the millions of Ghanaians can enjoy our game. In the time past, I have spoken about two things, and I want to, IG, at your permission, or with your permission, repeat what I said when I was here 18 months ago. I've always maintained that sports policing or football policing is distinctively distinct from normal policing, and I'll forever retain this position. And it's so important to me that we have an opportunity for us to take sports policing or football policing very, very important and very, very serious. In other established jurisdictions, we have sports policing units within the police service. And that tells you how important sports policing is, since football, as part of sports, controls the hearts of millions of people. And I would be extremely happy if our new IG and the leadership of the police service would also venture into creating a sports policing unit within the police service. That will help us a lot in the forward march of our football development. Match fixing has also reared its head in our football ecosystem. Last year, we had some bad incidents. And I remember making my way here to the police headquarters to meet the CID boss. And I'm happy to say that we had a good engagement, and investigations are ongoing to ensure that people who joke with our businesses, people who go wayward, are brought to book.
President Simeon Okweku also thanked the IGP for the invitation and his desire to support football operations and match day security across league centers.
Excited this morning. I remember about 17 months ago, I had the unique opportunity to be here to speak about the relationship that exists between the Ghana Police Service and our football industry. I'm saying I am super excited because today I was invited by the IGP together with my family to be here. It tells you clearly the intention of the IGP and the police service towards helping in the developmental agenda, not only of the current government, but also of our dear Football Association. I think that my colleagues here will have a lot to speak about. I am very excited about this opportunity to be part of this engagement. It is very, very clear that football controls the hearts of close to 30 million Ghanaians. We are very passionate about our sport. Football is the only sport that is consumed in 211 countries across the globe. That tells you how important and how strong this sporting entity or enterprise is. And once it controls the hearts and minds of the people, it's always possible that people will go wayward. When we
the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League is gradually taking shape as the boys are separating themselves from the men. Asante Kotoko and King Faisal defeated Bechem United and Adriana Stars respectively in the match day 2 of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League. Defending champions Accra Hearts of Oak are still looking for the first victory after failing to win against West African Football Academy.
Asante Kotoko returned to Baba Yara Sports Stadium for the first time in 18 months, and their fans were welcomed with 2-0 victory over Bechem United. Asante Kotoko scored 2 late goals to edge Bechem United on Sunday and marked their return to Baba Yara Stadium with a hard-fought win. Defender Ismail Abdul Ganiu converted an 86th minute sports kick to open the scoring after youngster Isaac Opon pushed down inside the box. Striker Samuel Boateng powered in a header in the 94th minute on a cross from Opon. Bechem United defender Osei Kofor was named man of the match. Head coach of Kotoko, Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum, after the game said it was a good game for him.
I mean, it was a very good game, and it's good for me because if you look at how tactically the game was, they were very defensively organized, and because of that, they didn't allow us to play those penetrative passes, and it was difficult for us to actually get the ball behind their defense. Yeah, we still keep to our game plan. We always trust in our process. Even when it's difficult, we trust that we can still score. So no matter the situation, we don't change our style. We keep to the shape, we keep to the game plan, we keep to the principles involved in the game plan, and that's what we've been doing.
Great Olympics recorded an emphatic 3-1 victory to prevail in the Accra Derby at the Accra Sports Stadium. Maxwell Ni Abekwe netted the first hat-trick of the 2021-2022 campaign to ensure Olympics claimed their first win of the season. Lions captain Tete Ankra pulled the consolation goal for the newbies in the 57th minute with a beautiful header. Wafa maintained their unbeaten record at home against Heart of Oak in the match day 2 fixture of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League. The Academy lads have never lost at home to the Phobians in the Ghana Premier League. Kofi Koji broke the deadlock for Heart of Oak in the dying minutes of the first half. He had earlier missed a chance in the game and redeemed himself with a strike to give the defending champions the lead. Samson Japan finally got the equalizer for the Wafa in the 59th minute with a sublime finish. Samson Japan was named as the best player after the match. Samuel Wedu after the game said his team Heart of Oak will start winning games from match week 4 onwards.
Sometimes there's a lot of it work for perfection, but there was a little mistake that we need to correct it. The goal that we conceded. From the dugout, I can see that it's a misunderstanding or miscommunication that caused us that for them to cancel that goal. Not at all. I know myself, maybe from 4th match going, things will change. When Asofo started picking up, it's unstoppable.
Kofi Koji played very well. He scored a goal for Heart of Oak. What would you make of his performance?
Yeah, as at now, what you expect from Kofi is not yet up. We know that he can do much better than this, but we are still working on his condition-wise. So when he come up, I think it will help the team as well.
The following are the results which came up in the match day 2 of the Ghana Premier League. Adriana Stars versus King Faisal ended 3-1 in favor of King Faisal. Ashanti Gold drew 1-1 against Karela United. Brekum Chelsea and 11 Wonders game ended 0-0 draw. Dreams FC defeated Elmina Sharks 3-1, and Legon Cities won 3-2 against RTU in the Accra Sports Stadium.
And that's it for sports. Now, quickly, let's move on to entertainment. And Pioneer Beauty Queens of World Top Model Ghana 2020 and 2021 are set to represent Ghana in various countries, respectively. In an interview with Adoatv, they shed more light on their journey, experience, and opportunities presented to them during their reign.
Beauty Queens of World Top Model, a pageant organized by International Pageant Hub with the motive of promoting Ghanaian models and giving them international platforms maiden edition, was held earlier in 2021, where 3 contestants, Valentina Nate, Regina Fibadaze, Marilyn Nambini, emerged winner, first runner-up and second runner-up respectively. Speaking exclusively to Adoatv's Cassandra Kujo from the entertainment desk, the beauty queens spoke about their experience being pioneers of the beauty pageant.
I went with the motive of winning, so I was not surprised, but I was excited. I was happy that my supporters and God didn't fail me here.
It was a good and a fair experience. Everyone had their fair share in it. Looking from how we were selected all the way to giving tasks and also executing the task and delivering everything on point. And then selection in the winner. So our manager and the main organizer felt it good that it be given to us, so we deserve it.
It was a nice experience for me too. I mean, there were ups and downs. There were some parts where I felt like, wow, this is a lot of work. But in the end, I feel like it was better for me. It was a good experience. And on the final day, I think I felt better about even winning Best Talent than about the whole thing. Thank you.
However, they debunked the popular assertions that no pageantry is fair in Ghana.
To me, I've not experienced anything of that sort because I mentioned I've not been into any pageant before.
I must agree with her that everything is free and fair and square, and this is because they saw that we well deserved it, and that's why they give it to us.
I do believe the 3 of us are who deserve to be in this position, so everything was fair.
They further went on to talk about the opportunities presented to them after taking over as winners of the World Top Model Ghana and encouraged ladies to pursue their dreams without relenting.
Talking about the prizes, not only me going outside the country to represent Ghana, but also I was given a brand new iPhone 11 Pro and some money. Yeah.
So there have been opportunities like going to Bali to represent Ghana for Miss Polo International, 2 opportunities in Turkey, and 1 opportunity in Lebanon.
You can visit our website on adrenewsonline.com for more news updates, trending stories. My name is Anastasia Badu. Thanks to our sponsors, Verna Natural Mineral Water, Blue Sea Ties and Accessories, CB Herbal Center. We stream live on Facebook, Adoatv Ghana, and YouTube. You can also watch later on Adoatv GH. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Do have a good evening.